Happy Tuesday, guys. This is Rose. Just wanted to give y'all a quick kind of overview of how I traded today and kind of how yesterday was for me. Like basically a good day. Kind of just watch price action and sit out, and basically what I may be expecting for the rest of the week potentially. So, um, one of the things that I marked up this week was kind of like this channel we've been in, and we kind of been respecting it. And yesterday I kind of started to see the cracks. We're at the bottom, but we're kind of closing below it. Another thing that I noticed this week is I have this broad information right here, and look how perfectly no, I did it from this swing high in the 4 hour to this swing high. Tapped it here, it looked off it and it closed above it. Last week's previous week high was also right at the top of this broad information. So, and that was Friday, so already coming into the week, I'm already like, are we gonna displace through it and is it gonna become support or are we gonna come back down? The way that this 4 hour close kind of helped me see like, yeah, we might come down. But of course I wanna have a bias to like kind of start to see price action. Then I also marked the previous month high, and I noticed how Friday, we kind of tapped it again. Then overnight, kind of came back down. I like to mark my fair value gaps, mainly on the 4 hour. So I marked one right here, marked one here on the hourly. And so with Monday, if you look at the calendar, there was really no red folder news today neither. So I realized, hey, Monday might be a consolidation day, especially because a lot of the red folder news is happening later in the week, with the highlight of the week being Fitcher Powell speech at the Jackson Hole Symposium. So I'm like, we've been consolidating since kind of since last Wednesday. If I draw this box right here, and let me change it color. This was our range since like last Wednesday, and Friday kind of stuck in that range. Monday, if you notice, I could tell a lot of people were frustrated, especially with all these wicks. And so basically, as you can see, Monday we were kind of just looking off it. There was this hourly fair value gap that we couldn't get over. And so that made me realize, like, hey, if we're looking off this, but it's a low volatility day, low volume as well. Either I'm not gonna trade or I'm just gonna try to catch it at the top of the range or what seems to be the bottom of this range. And I was able to catch one put, I think, and that was it. Like I was done for the day. Nothing crazy. I was like, I don't want to deal with the stress of all this up and down, up and down. For my shadows, you see a cool 1-3 here and a 3-1. But if you're in a range, they tend to not work as nice as when you're either at the top of the bar information or at the bottom, or you're kind of like out of, forming a significant swing high or swing low. So I kind of tend to ignore that. Like I said, I know it's an excruciating day for a lot, but another thing that a lot of you guys know is that I like using market internals like tick and ADD. And one of my rules is, this is Monday, if ADD is between like 600 and 0, like, or negative 600, like, especially if it's not moving a lot, like if it's not moving in a nice like up and down pattern, I just tend to try not to trade just because I know that it's gonna be choppy. The same with tick. like, let me just chill. And especially because over the weekend I had planned that Monday was going to be a choppy day. So that was what happened Monday. Today, I wanted to show you another thing. I have this, I have this fib from this swing low here, or you can even bring it down to this one right here. Basically a weekly fib, because it's from the previous week low to the previous week high. I had it anchored to here, and as you can see, we're like, you know, we're ranging here, and I said if we're not making new highs, then most likely sometime this week, I wasn't expecting today to be honest. I was expecting more of a range again. We might start to come down and try to find like, that 0.618 or that 0.75. So this morning when I saw the overnight price action and saw that we were still kind of stuck in the range, I figured like, hey, if we're not getting above this level of, above basically this fair value gap and even this, then there's really no point for me to look for calls. And most likely, if we do get above, look for wicks for the downside. And so that's exactly what I did. So today, it did require some patience because at open, we were still kind of choppy. And once on the 15-minute, I saw this wick right here, and then I saw this other candle here. I waited for this break right here, and then I entered a put, and then my target was previous day close right here. Sorry, not previous day close. The target was the 0.618 of the fib. So I sold early, but I happened to get 700%. I think at the end of the day, the contract ended up going like 1100% or so. But I was more kind of managing my position because I wasn't sure if we were gonna just wake up above here, or if we were the market could get a little tricky. So I just decided to take profit, and it was also it was a lower ADR. It was basically just that. One thing that gave me confidence to hold here was when we lost 50% of the previous week, week, and as you can see, M2 is already like way below its previous week low. So if you look here, it's already taken it out, whereas DS is still inside weak and it still has like more downside to go to take that out. So that kind of gave me confidence to on puts. I said, hey, M2 is more aggressive, so let me go ahead and take those puts, and then ABB also was above 1,000 at one point, and when I started to see it come down below 1,000, I was like, okay, this thing is gonna try to come down, and unless this starts to form some divergence with SPX, then I'm just gonna trust the puts, or trust that we're gonna come down. And overall, this was like started to get a little choppy towards the end, but overall it was a good play. And one of the other things that I use Sadie's indicators, and for SPX, one of the key things for me was we had I had opened a box here with basically supply that we've had basically the range we've been trading in. And same thing when I noticed that SPX took yesterday's highs, and it was kind of 50% of the supply area, and it couldn't come back or go back up. realized, hey, let me take a chance on puts, especially because we were, this here is a call trigger, and once we were back at previous day close, which is this white line, that gave me more confidence of, hey, like, this might come back down. My target using Sadie's, kind of playbook was, initially we reached the put trigger, which is the yellow line, and then this ATR level right here was the Golden Gate Open, and if you don't know these concepts, he has on his YouTube some videos on these strategies. So once we lost the Golden Gate Open, I kept holding because the ribbon here was holding as well. We weren't closing above these EMAs. And so my target was this 64.17, which is the Golden Gate completion. And it ended up going lower, like I said. But like I said, my goal was to find my target and hit profit. And right around, like I had a lot of information here. And right, it coincided with the Golden Gate completion. So once it hit here, I just took profit. Like I said, it was about 700%. And I could have gotten more, but like I said, it's better to be safe and follow your plan than to be greedy. And who knows, it could have easily reversed, but I followed my plan. And so that's kind of like what I did today. I know like a lot of people, these are kind of foreign concepts, but that's kind of like the strategy I've been using. And I have other YouTube videos on these, but like I said, I like to use market internals to gauge kind of like see under the hood. I like to use Sadie's indicators, basically the 3-minute, 10-minute, and hourly. On the hourly here, you can see too that we were losing the 48 EMA and started shifting. And then also on the ATRs levels, like this one is on intraday, and this one I have it on, I have it set for the multi-day. So if you go here, you have your daily or your multi-day. And on the multi-day, it gave me confidence too because if you look on the hourly, we could never close above the previous day, this ATR level. And then today, actually, we kind of found support right at the put trigger. So tomorrow, we can either come back here, retest the ribbon, because this looks like it might form what he calls like a Vani, or, we can kind of retest the ribbon here, and then maybe come back down, especially if we start to lose this level. So maybe towards the end of the week, we can either come back even further down to the multi-day Golden Gate Open with a final target here if we're aggressively going down. If not, we can easily come back up and either retest the previous close here and maybe like do something like this and break out. So something and maybe go back and retest the call trigger right here, which is that blue line. So that's something that could come into play. And that's why when it's kind of in between the call and the put trigger, it can be a little tricky. But that's basically what I'm kind of looking at, especially now, because this could easily be like a failed breakdown or the power 3 where we've been accumulating here since Tuesday basically, and then we came down here, and then we can easily come back up. Could be a scenario, or this breakdown can be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm gonna take a look at that. The hourly is at the kind of bottom of the oscillator here, so I'll take a look at that. The 4-hour is defending the EMA 21 so far, so that's also where I kind of keep an eye on and see like what's happening. And then the daily is defending the EMA 13 so far. And as you can see, the past few weeks we've kind of licked off it. So I'm gonna look for wicks. It's gonna come back down. and and then kind of slide into the ribbon and then come back up. But if you start to see strength, then yeah, maybe this could be a bigger breakdown. Other than that, that's kind of like what I look for when it comes, like I said, to savvy indicators. When it comes to yes here to basically price action, I'm looking to see right here we kind of have this area kind of here was previous resistance that could easily, as you can see here, kind of notice how we're breaking off it. So if it starts breaking off it and staying above it and having like candles not closing above that area, then it could be a sign that we could start to come back up, that bulls are defending more. Um, but if not, then I would really, I would want to see how we react if we come back down to previous week low. Like I said, there's still that divergence between NQ and ES, so that could be a target for this week, and then see if we either kind of sweep this and then come back up, and then potentially back down, or if we aggressively push up. So keep an eye on that. Really, like I said, I try to have more my levels and try to see like what price is trying to do instead of saying I'm 100% confident that tomorrow we're going to go up or down. Another thing I always stress is market psychology, or trading psychology basically. Yesterday I knew we were gonna be stuck, or not know, but I had this big feeling that we were gonna be in a range, especially because we have been trading in a range for the past few days, and I told myself do not trade, do not trade, do not trade. Like I said, I did take one trade, but especially at the beginning, it does take a lot of mentally prepping myself, telling myself remember follow your rules. I do have my psychology trading plan that I read every day, and then I have my trading process. This one I didn't fully create this one myself. It was created by someone else, but I kind of use the same table for studies indicators, and I kind of added some rules for myself or changed it a little. But I told myself do not trade it for stock, like because sometimes you see it in the chart. Especially once you start to spend a lot of time with the charts, you have it feeling you're like, there's really nothing going on today. Why am I trading? Or maybe I should look at other tickers. Like, like yesterday or today, a lot of people traded Uber or point your puts, something like that. Look for something else. Um, Especially with, before I forget, with VIX kind of under that 18 area. I am looking at it because if you look at it on the 4 hour and even the daily, it's kind of trapped in here, and I'm trying to see it's starting to get to this little area here, and what's it gonna do? Is it gonna come back down, or is it gonna try to come back, spike back up? So, kind of keep an eye on that. Definitely, if we start getting a VIX above 17, 18, things start to get a little spicy. So let's see what happens there. Keep an eye on MAGs, which is like MAG 7. Just to see what MAG 7's doing. Subtitles is for semis, and then RSP is an equal weight ETF for S&P. So if you start to see all of these come down, then you get confirmation with the internals, and then everything else lines up, and what time it is. So whether it's for calls or puts. Yeah, I just wanted to give this quick update and hope this video helps you.